A former British spy in the IRA who allegedly admitted murder will not be prosecuted. I'm going to read into this exclusive from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from The Guardian with the headline of the former British spy in the IRA who allegedly admitted murder will not be prosecuted. The exclusive reveals that the ex-double agent allegedly admitted to murder during training presentations to members of the security service. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. This is wrong. It's wrong in every sense of the word. Those who broke the law essentially need to pay for their crimes. Now, let's make no mistakes about it. The Troubles were a very deep and tough time, and what the British did during those times were atrocious at times, but there were also things that the other side did as well. It's easy to point fingers and say, well, this side did more than the other and whatnot. The fact of the matter is people died. People died, and nobody wants to ever go back to those kind of days whatsoever. However, one thing that's never been addressed is any kind of reprimand and justice for those who had lost their lives in any way, shape, or form. And this is one of many cases where people still want that justice and they're still not getting it. And the fact that this person is a former British spy says a lot, because it says that the British are going to protect this person regardless of what he's done, despite the fact that he allegedly, you have to use the word allegedly, if he admitted murder, and he's going to be able to carry on living his life. Doesn't seem right in any way, shape, or form, does it? But let's read a bit more into this, guys. So, victims' families have reacted with anger after it emerged a former British double agent in the IRA who allegedly admitted to murder while giving training presentations to members of the security service will not be prosecuted. The case had emerged during an investigation by officers into the activities of the British spy known as Steak Knife, and a criminal file was passed to the prosecution service of Northern Ireland. According to the officers, the agent, who is not Steak Knife, has assisted the British security forces by giving lectures to new agent handlers and other security force personnel after being resetted outside Northern Ireland. The training presentations included alleged admissions to serious criminal offences, including murder, but the British agent was not investigated or charged at the time of any crime. The case was subsequently investigated by officers working under Chief Constable John Botcher, who until March this year had led Operation Konoviska's inquiry into Steak Knife, a notorious agent named in 2003 as a former IRA security enforcer in Freddie Scapariti. A file on the alleged admissions of the agent during his training presentations was one of 35 passes to Northern Ireland's prosecution service, but it has now been dropped. So, just like that, they've just dropped it. Spokesperson for Northern Ireland's Public Prosecution Service, the PPSNI, said they had decided against charges with regards to the case on evidential grounds. We've received an investigation file after careful consideration of all available evidence. A decision not to prosecute was taken on evidential ground. We are unable to make any further comments in relation to this matter. If he allegedly admit murder, is that not enough then? I don't like this. They're also saying that there's not enough evidence. Do you believe that? Kevin Winters, who represents the families of victims affected by the activities of British agents in the IRA, said the failure to prosecute the individuals was Semitic in significance. He said, "What does this say about the state of our criminal justice system when somebody so obviously criminal isn't the suspect of a major prosecution? And I include within the security forces attendees listening to such admissions. It is beyond farcical and plumbs new depths of injustice. Having just learnt of this news, we ought to be shocked, but to be blunt, we aren't. The latest decision is entirely consistent with all our similar decision making to date." Yeah, that's one thing that's definitely been happening a lot, is that they're trying to kind of fleece out of any kind of justice to them. And it's I just don't get it. Like, I say I don't get it, but I just, they need to pay for their crimes. What they've done within, if there is sufficient evidence. So they're saying there's not, they're making the grounds on the basis of sufficient evidence. So they're saying there's not enough evidence. Is there really not enough evidence? That's a question, isn't it? That's a question that I'm still asking myself. Winter is seeking a judicial review of the prosecution service decision not to prosecute anyone over the 1983 murder of Anthony Bradcliffe, 22, who was falsely accused by the IRA of being a British informant. He said of the latest development, this will be added into our pending High Court judicial review challenge against the PPS. Ken Rover, spokesperson, confirmed that a full investigation has been carried out into the allegations. Operation Canova, sorry if I mispronounce it, was launched 7 years ago, but after 1,000 witness statements, 50,000 pages of evidence, and 40 million, there is yet to be a conviction. That's what's the point of this? What's the point of this if there's no convictions? This is consistent British governments dragging their feet on this. There are forces behind the scenes that are preventing this. Officers have examined 101 murders and abductions associated with the IRA's Nutting Squad, a unit of which Scapariti was a leading figure responsible for interrogating and torturing those subject to passing information to the British security forces. The IRA unit was thoroughly penetrated by the British security services. Operation Canova found that preventable and serious crime took place, and that these include murders committed by agents, including cases in which one agent murdered another, according to an interim report published in March. Officers found no evidence to suggest that the authorities considered holding these agents liable for their criminal acts. Bolshoi, a former chief constable of Bedfordshire Police who has recently become chief constable of the police service in Northern Ireland, had published his report due to the slow progress of prosecution. He wrote at the time that he was aware of the strength of evidence that many of those cases and believed timely prosecution decisions are vital to retain public confidence. Bolshoi noted that difficulties of legacy prosecutions, but he was also highly critical of the lack of capacity at the prosecution service to deal with such cases, writing that the organisation lacked a significant resource specialist unit capable of dealing with the high volumes of extremely complex legacy casework which it faces. PPSNI had not had the funding to deliver a legal process to achieve its best and timely outcomes to our families in Northern Ireland, he wrote. No, clearly not. This it's just dragging. I just feel like this is dragging. Why is this not? Why are we not pushing ahead to press charges on these? Like, if the evidence is there, what's the problem? Well, clearly there are forces behind the scenes that are stopping these prosecutions being taken place. That's it. There's no giving around it. There are clearly forces behind the scenes. Now, obviously, this story here is obviously somebody allegedly committed murder. So we have to stress that word, allegations. But they're claiming there wasn't enough evidence for him and charges have been dropped. That's what they're claiming. Not saying it is, not saying it isn't. That's what they're claiming. But to say that we haven't had, when I read the bit there about no prosecutions, Operation Convener, launched 7 years ago, yet to be a conviction, £40 million wasted of taxpayer money, 50,000 pages of evidence, 1,000 witness statements, and you can't get a conviction. No, you know that there's forces at bay here that's denying people something. You just know that. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of this story? What do you make of a former British spy allegedly admitted murder, not being prosecuted. How does that make you feel? Are you surprised by this story? Let me know your thoughts about this and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.